Good morning, everyone. It's Mwelwa from Financial Insight, and I am in Barcelona, Spain for the 2024 Africa Energy Forum. This year's event is being held in Spain, and it just so happens that the Spanish government has been a huge investor in energy. Circa $2 billion that was invested in South Africa's energy needs. So this place offers a very strategic location closer to big capital that will hopefully bring some innovative projects to the African landscape around energy. So I'll be covering this event for the next 4 days. So I'd like you to stay tuned and get to know some of the insights that will be coming from this year's event. One of the things, I'm looking at the program now, it shows that this year they're adding on a few new features, such as the breakfast debates that will be happening every morning, as well as breakfast briefings. And in addition to that, there'll also be closed-door roundtable meetings. So lots of exciting discourse that will be happening at this year's energy event. So I'd like you all to stay tuned to our platforms and get to know. How have you found the 2024 edition of the Africa Energy Forum?
Oh, it was very interesting, and the good thing we had was a lot of people attended. The guys who are contractors, the guys who are off-takers, and so on, and the banks were there as well to look at the financing some of this renewable energy projects in Africa, especially in Zambia. So we were busy, from morning to evening, just meeting the bankers, the funders, our funders, the potential bankers. Also, we're trying to raise some more finance. So we were talking to people who can finance us. On top of that, we're looking also at the people who are able to construct those solar, wind, and hydro projects. So it was really interesting, and listen to what's happening across Africa.
Absolutely. Now, obviously Africa Energy Forum is known for bringing together the developers as well as the financiers. Now, we already understand that Zambia is experiencing, one of the worst drought disasters that has obviously led to the power deficit. Are you able to tell us how, from a strategy point of view, why it was so important that GreenCo participates in an event like this, but also what sort of solutions are you seeing possibly coming in that GreenCo can be a part of, in terms of helping with the power deficit?
Yeah, like you have seen, the Zambian government have really come out firing. The president hasn't taken it easy. He's come in and just put everything on top and say, you private sectors, you can bring in as much power as you can. So you have seen the solar equipment is on now, no duty on it. You can bring all those things in with not paying duty. There's also an incentive of having solar on your home, whereby I can sell it back to ZESCO. And of course, with GreenCo, this is a big opportunity for us. We are helping some of the mines. We're importing some energy outside country and transporting into the electrons to the big mines on the copper belt and in Northwestern Province. And so it's a big opportunity for us. At the same time, they always say that whenever there's a crisis, there's always an opportunity. So this is a big opportunity for the people who are constructing solar, especially the renewable energy, and also the thing like wind as well. So you have seen, I've saw quite a number of Zambian PPAs coming in, private partnership who are in Zambia. They were here at Barcelona trying to raise money and trying to get with the contractors to build a lot of these new plants. And also like with Mamba, even though it's not a renewable source, but because I was involved with that when I was at SSCM building it. So I've heard that the government has raised enough money to put on another 300 megawatts. So in the long run, I think the efforts made by government must be applauded. It's a big crisis. It has affected agriculture. It has affected electricity. So I think it's been a bad time for the government. But at the same time, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities for the private sector at the moment. And you've seen, I think, a lot of companies coming in Zambia to construct. And also us as GreenCo, we have an opportunity now to expand, to trade with energy from neighboring countries.
Absolutely. Now, you obviously touched on the fact that, that at your time, whilst you were at ZCCM-IH, the Mamba project was brought on board. Are you able to just give our viewers just a taste of what it was like at that particular time and how much of an impact adding on, that sort of quantum of power to the grid and what that did in terms of, the growth of the country?
Yes, like I said from the beginning, Mamba was that time it was necessary, evil, I have to say, because we're using coal there. But for the time being, and I'm saying for the time being, because we are looking at greener energy in the future. But for the time being, at the moment, we need stable energy to balance solar energy. And when I was at ZCCM, when we started the Mamba, was integral part of building it. So we started with 300 megawatts, but we are also going to increase to 600 megawatts. And the government now are going to increase to 600 megawatts. By increasing to 600 megawatts, it's giving more opportunities to the solar energy, so that we can use the balancing of the excess 300 megawatts from Mamba.
Right. Now, just to give our viewers some further insight, GreenCo is a member of the Southern African Power Pool. You have obviously been engaging with the Southern African Power Pool. You are trading. How important is GreenCo's membership in the Southern African Power Pool, especially in the context of the challenges that we're having?
As we all know, GreenCo doesn't have assets. We trade, and we are the first company, private company, to be member of SAP. We don't have assets. So what we do, we are a trader. We trade energy, and SAP has been very integral part of our success in Zambia. We are able to import energy from Mozambique and sell it on the Zambian mines. So that's one of the biggest advantages that we've got. GreenCo is not only in Zambia. We are in Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and soon we are going to be in South Africa. So we are really expanding. We're a big regional company.
Absolutely. And then, just finally, are you able to give our viewers, just some insight in terms of what conversations you had that you are looking forward to extending further as you leave Africa Energy Forum in Barcelona?
I think the biggest issue we have had in Zambia is interconnectors. As we all know, we have no I couldn't believe it. We don't have interconnector between Zambia and Tanzania to link up with the East African Power Pool. On top of that, the connector between Mozambique and Zambia is very limited. And we would need to increase that to near 400 kV for us to really transport those electrons needed in the Zambian industry. And Zambia is one of the biggest expanding mining countries in Africa at the moment, including DRC. So without energy, Zambia cannot expand in its processing of minerals. So is DRC. They need a lot of energy. So there have to be a big interconnector improvement, upgrading between Zambia and DRC, and also between Zimbabwe and Zambia, and also between Mozambique and Zambia, and also Tanzania, to put a new interconnector. And I've heard a lot of people trying to come in, especially private companies, to come and set up the infrastructure for transmitting these electrons. And I think that's the biggest achievement or good news we've had, that we'll be able now to trade with the East African Power Pool, including the Mozambique. We increase, because from between Mozambique and Zambia, we cannot transmit more than 200 kV. We need at least 400 kV to take more energy. And we heard from the Mozambicans that they are putting up about 3 power plants, total of about 2,600 megawatts. So that's a huge amount of energy which they need to sell. And for us as a GreenCo, we'll support that and buy from them and sell in Zambia. But on the local front, we've got Ilute, which is also, we had Sipo Piri was talking. about this project, and we are very excited. Because we are really integral part of the Ilute project. We got a PP. We have a PPA to take the 30 megawatt energy, and that will be used in Zambia. And like I said, the opportunities are there in Zambia. Now at the moment, there's all the problems we have with electricity, but it's an opportunity for traders like things like GreenCo.
Absolutely. Dr. Kasolo, thank you so much for speaking to us, and we look forward to engaging you even more over the next coming weeks as we continue to try and find solutions for Zambia's energy crisis.
Thank you so much, Mwelwa, and have a safe flight home.
Yeah, you too, sir. And thank you to Team GreenCo for sponsoring Financial Insight to do this coverage from Barcelona, Spain.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This year, 12 months later, we're in Barcelona. Tell us a bit about how the last couple of months have been running up to this particular event on the various projects.
Well, I mean, progress is not quick enough. We're impatient. We've been at this a long time. And there's still things within BOMA which move slowly. But, you know, the buy-in from the boss down is there. Further down, maybe there doesn't seem to be the urgency. Load shedding, I mean, is devastating for Zambia, it's devastating for growth. It's very difficult for ZESCO. You know, ZESCO, people underestimate how much improvement ZESCO have made to their balance sheet and where they were going. So even this is a big setback for ZESCO. But setbacks are setbacks. What can we do? We can sit and cry, or we just overcome them. So it hasn't been the smoothest yet, but it's been constant progress. The biggest change is Zambia, and I've been quite surprised here. I was speaking to Sylvester at CEC, Copperbelt Energy, and a few other Zambians here. You know, Zambia is the rock star for all investors. Everyone wants to come to Zambia. Everyone wants deal flow in Zambia. The bankers want to do Zambia, and bankers are usually your best test. Any little wobble, bankers, I'm a banker, former banker, so I know they run for the hills when they smell problems, let alone see them. So despite all of our difficulties this year, to see the bankers so keen, so proactive, and the big difference, I think people are finding solutions now here. Oh, how do we sort out the receivables? How do we sort out bankability? Let's not just rely on government guarantees. And I mean, you do need some to an extent. Everyone does for expropriation and so on. But they're seeing us as a base for Central and Southern Africa. And they want us to, they're seeing Zambia as a platform into Katanga and Congo, seeing Zambia as a hub into Zimbabwe mining, interestingly. So we are, and even northern Mozambique. There's a lot now of interest. I'm seeing land linked in action. So that's been a very interesting takeaway. And of course, I've always believed Zambia is in that position. As developers, we have been either very brave or very stupid to carry on through the hard days. So our projects are very, very, very well developed. And therefore, there's been a lot of interest in us. That's why it's meeting after meeting after meeting. So, tiring as it is, I think it's good for Zambia. I kind of feel that a lot of Zambians should come and see all of this. It's gloom and doom at home with all the load shedding. It's with the drought, with the pain that we're going through. But here, there's a
lot of optimism.
There's optimism for Zambia, optimism for our future. And so, you know, my wife and children are always telling me, no, go. I hate traveling now. Go. It'll be good for you. It'll refresh you. Actually, in many ways, this trip has refreshed me. I've come back feeling, okay, we've got very good prospects for Zambia.
Absolutely.
So I'm very happy with that.
Absolutely. Now, just to touch on the issue of transmission, there's been a lot of talk around this year's event around financing of transmission projects and whether transmission backbones can actually spur up generation projects. How important, especially on the angle of the land-linked issue, will a solid transmission grid be, especially for Zambia?
Well, you see, we've got Southern African Power Pool. And the Southern African Power Pool is a remarkably well-run market. As you know, one of our projects, Ilute, we're going to be trading into the Southern African Power Pool through a trader, Africa GreenCo. Now, these market traders, there's a couple of them now springing up. They play a very good role. You move away from all of this state utilities. Now, I'm not someone who's against state utilities, mustn't get me wrong. I think we need state utilities. I think we need state involvement, but that doesn't preclude. It's not either or. Both can work, private and state. We must look at transmission. The fact that everyone is asking, how do we finance transmission? How do we do this? It's a sign of where we're going.
Absolutely.
And transmission is a very big issue. A very big issue for Zambia. And there's a lot more power coming. Power, unfortunately, takes a long time. It's not like the switch in your bedroom.
Absolutely.
It takes a long time to develop, but it's coming. The transmission is following. People are talking about it. People want to finance it. World Bank, ZESCO, looking to the future and financing interconnectors. It's coming together. It's coming together. So in the next few years, we're going to see a big impact. It's going to change a lot of things.
Now, on a final note, how important is having a stable regulatory regime? We know that you've just mentioned about open access, and government now obviously trying to operationalize that at this particular stage. How important will it be to have to ensure that investors are confident that they can invest in the Zambian energy sector?
Well, Zambia for a long time has had one of the best policy and regulatory environments in energy. We have one of the best foreign exchange environments in Africa. So it's not always just about the regulatory environment. You can have whatever regulation you want. It's how it's implemented. It's how it's adhered to. It's how we plan. We're very good conferences, workshops. Especially out of town workshops for allowances. Fine, all well and good. It's had some good results. But the key thing is implementation.
Absolutely.
And how have you enjoyed it?
Well, so I've actually enjoyed sitting down and having conversations like this. I think this being the final day, I'm quite optimistic that yes, the solutions are there, and it's just important that, like you said, implementation. So we're hoping that the content and interviews such as like this will influence policymakers as well as project developers to come in and play their part in sorting out energies.
That's the thing. We'll open the door, everyone can rush in, but it's difficult.
No, it is. You did once say that being a pioneer is not.
It doesn't pay.
It doesn't pay. It doesn't.
But anyway, I mean, it's a better future for us also. I suppose might not pay in the pocket, but it'll pay for
the legacy
Zambia.
as well. The legacy as well.
So anyway, back to load shedding.
Absolutely. No, Super Piri, thank you so much. You've heard it for yourself. Live from Barcelona, this has been Mwelwa speaking to Super Piri, Western Power, and the other projects, Ilute Solar, Mpepo. So stay tuned for more insights from this particular event and get to know.
I'm Kathy Oxby, GreenCo's Chief Commercial Officer, speaking to you live from Barcelona. We're here at the Africa Energy Forum, pushing forward with our projects in Zambia, speaking to investors, developers, lenders, to make sure that those projects can get built and get the electrons flowing as soon as possible. It's great, and I think it's really also important to be aware of the context and the fact that all these countries we're speaking about are part of a continent, and that from a power perspective there's interconnection. And so our membership of the Southern African Power Pool and access to the regional markets is one of our key risk mitigants. And so when we're looking at projects and when we're speaking to the lenders and looking at the risks associated with our ability to sell that power onward, because we're buying the power and taking risk on our ability to sell, we're not limited to selling it in the country it was generated in. And whether it's bilaterally or through the competitive markets, having access to a broader regional pool is a huge mitigant. And so in terms of the credit risk assessment, one of the key components of the GreenCo model is trying to breach the sovereign ceiling. You're not constrained by single country risk. And I think that we've found challenges there with some of the financing community, whether it's financing the projects or us, shifting people away from looking at single country. Now, the sort of donor DFI world traditionally has had their favourite countries. And we're saying, well, it's regional. This is a region. We need to be looking at the region as a whole, particularly in the context of what Africa's doing. The African Union vision of a single energy market and the increasing role of the power pools. I think it's fair to say that within Southern Africa, we were the first to start talking about SAP. It's been around for over 20 years. It's a proper functioning market, and we trade on it every day. And so if a bilateral customer in any of our countries defaults, then within a few hours we can sell that power into the intraday market, or the day ahead, week ahead, month ahead. And so that's part of our ongoing strategy and an ultimate backstop to the bilaterals. And we see in West Africa, the market rules for the West African power pool are about to be adopted. They've done a huge amount of work on the technical and regulatory integration across the region to enable that market to take off. And so a similar ability to aggregate countries, aggregate country risk will soon be there. And East Africa is a bit further behind, but with the completion of the Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya interconnector, then East Africa can link into the Southern African market as well. So, I guess for us, it's not so much about country. It's about how the interconnections work, and particularly in the context of renewables, being able to use different technologies more efficiently.
My name is Prince Nyati, a director at Serenja Energy, and I'm joining you here from the Africa Energy Forum 2024 in Barcelona, Spain.
Absolutely. Now, Prince, obviously we're on day 4 of the AEF. Tell us a bit about how your experience has been at this year's event.
Oh, the experience has been great. Obviously the weather is fantastic here in Barcelona, 24-degree weather all the way up until 10 o'clock. But more than that, on the business front, I think it's been very well attended. A lot of willingness from the different investors to get things done. Gets us African developers very excited to see how much interest there is in getting power projects up and running on the continent, and more particularly on the SADC region.
Absolutely. Now, for Zambians who would love to attend events like this, just tell us a bit about what your journey has been over the last couple of years attending it, and how you've been able to leverage off, and how maybe they could also tap into that sort of sort of success in terms of the various engagements you've had with different lenders and developers.
Yeah. So, interestingly, this is my 5th AEF, and I've been attending quite a few of these. I think the only one we missed was when we didn't have it in 2020 due to COVID. But the experience has been great. It's a one-stop shop where you developers interact with lenders, EPC, in service providers, advisors, regulators, regional, global. And it's also a place for people to come and learn about what's happening elsewhere in the power sector, energy sector. And we're not just talking about electricity, we're talking about sort of the broader sector. And it's for all the people that are looking to come and attend, I highly recommend attending one of these. The next one is actually going to be in Cape Town next year. So I'd recommend that you attend if you are in any shape or form participating in the energy sector.
Right now, and maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about, like some of the engagements that you've had so far. Obviously, we did interview you, and you did tell us about, some of the projects that you're working with. Yes. Attending this particular year's event, what have been some of your key takeaways with the engagements you've had? So the key takeaways, obviously, I'll be a bit biased towards our own interests. We're developing a 25 megawatt Lusanja project in Zambia and a 100 megawatt CVPP solar project on the Copper Belt. Now, there's been quite a lot of interest in these projects,
particularly from funders, and both from the debt and equity investors. Obviously, the service providers like EPC, construction companies, equipment suppliers have also expressed a lot of interest in that. So for me, I find that, especially given the special circumstances that Zambia has found itself in, where we are in energy crisis, there's a lot of willingness and interest to actively get involved. So what I find with the AEF is that when you get here, people actually come here with an intent to get things done. It's not just a talking shop. It's not a seminar where people are coming to just give talks. It's really people coming with the intention of signing deals and getting things moving. So that's great for us as developers.
Absolutely. And then obviously you have indicated that the next event will be in Cape Town.
Yes.
What does the road ahead look like for your company in the next couple of months post this particular event?
So the next 12 months we believe are going to be very interesting and very busy for us, because for the Lusanja project we really have finished our development work and are getting into the construction phase. So we had a lot of good meetings here that covered some of the gaps that we had, particularly on the funding side. So quite a few financial partners, people that want to partner with us, alongside with us, and grow our project. So we expect the next 12 months to be very busy, the next few weeks actually to be very busy. Lots of follow-up meetings, lots of term sheets going back and forth. And we believe in the next 12 months, I think next time we're in Cape Town, we should be in construction, in full-on construction mode, and probably looking forward to commissioning our first plant and adding our first megawatts on the Zambian grid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, Prince Nyati, thank you so much for speaking to us, and we're wishing you well in your various projects.
Thank you so much, Mwelwa. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, it's Mwelwa, and this is day 4 at Africa Energy Forum, the final day of the 2024 edition of the Africa Energy Forum in Barcelona, Spain. I've been covering this particular event on behalf of Financial Insight. This year's event obviously brought together key stakeholders from the investment community, for 4 days of dialogue around how they can get projects off the ground. Particular issue was around transmission. I attended one panel discussion, which was really exciting, about how transmission projects can actually spur more generation financing to be released. For me, Mwelwa Chibesokunda, at the 2024 edition in Barcelona of AEF, stay tuned for more insights and get to know.